Hello guys, my name is Masego G. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever video on YouTube. I'm super excited. So I've opened this channel to actually share my learnings, to share my experiences also, just as a young person, and moreover for me to be able to learn from you as I grow and we grow together as a community. Great. So I'm sure you would have noticed on the title of the video that it says my plan versus God's plan. Wow. So I had a very interesting childhood, or rather teenagehood. I had a lot of plans about my life, and it is only a few years back that I got to realize that, you know what, my plans were not the one, but God's plans are actually the one. So growing up, I always wanted to be an engineer. I envisioned myself that I'd be married at a certain age that I had put for myself. I'd be having beautiful kids with a handsome, moneyed, husband actually. Yeah, you know, staying somewhere in Senton or wheresoever, having a lot of money and a lot of businesses. But I need to indicate that none of those things has happened. You know why? Because it was my plans. So to cut a long story short, I started getting to understand and to get to know myself better and to actually get to know God better. And I realized that actually God has other plans with myself. So that is why I'm saying my plans versus God's plans. So I realized that my plans were more influenced by pressure, right? My plans were more influenced by getting a certain car at a certain age, being married, being appealing, being recognized, being respected, right? And when I get to check with God's plans now that I know, is that God's plans are not more about me or my position, right? But God's plans are more about humility, right? God's plans are more about contentment. It's about allowing yourself to live where you are with what you have and still rejoice and still be happy, right? So at that time, I longed for happiness in all those things that I wanted to attain. But now I haven't attained them, right? And I'm so much content and I'm so happy because I am walking in God's plan, right? So my plans are more arrogant and God's plan speaks more of humility, right? And I've also gotten to know as time goes that the plans that I had for my life was to actually please myself, to please the people around me, while God's plans are for me to live a life that is full of purpose, a life that is full of meaning, right? A life that at the end of the day, He is happy, not the other way around, right? So I always wanted to keep my family happy on how I live, make myself happy, make people around me happy. But God had something in place, had something in store to say, Masego, if you want to have a fulfilled life, you must know that I have got plans for your life. And that is why He says in His word that He has got plans to prosper us, you know, plans that are not there to harm us, but plans that are directing us to our life purpose, right? So right now I am walking in a plan that has driven me to live the life that is full of purpose, while I wanted the life that is pleasing me and the people that are around me. But God said, Masego, rather live life that is full of meaning, right? So my plans also was for me to actually change as time goes, was for me to be able to go with the status quo. You'd remember that usually you'd go, when you read in the news, they tell you that there is lag in terms of such careers, or we need certain people, you know, we need certain qualifications for people to actually get more opportunities and succeed. And I gotten to realize that with where I am today, God's plans has always been seamless. Because if I go according to my plan, I'll always change, right? Because my plans are going to be influenced by the status quo, right? My plans are influenced by the fact that there is corona, right? My plans are influenced by the fact that the economy is bad. Therefore, I change. But I've realized that God's plans are seamless. You know why? Because He knows us, He knew us before we are even conceived, right? So in other words, He knows everything that is happening today that is going to happen tomorrow. So when He created me, He knew that one day Masego is going to be shooting this video while I had my own plans, while I had my own dreams. But when I look back to, I think when I was in grade 6, and I remember one day I was doing public speaking, and we're doing our prepared speeches. So today, as I'm sitting here and shooting this video, I actually get to realize, you know what, God's plan are seamless, they are intact. You are able to look back and say, this does not start here. It started somewhere, and moreover, it started before you were even born. So then I decided, but Masego, why would you rather choose your plans? Because your plans keep changing. My plans are so inconsistent, but God's plans are consistent, like in all dimensions. So that is why I've actually gotten to learn in my life that really I cannot compete with God in terms of His plans for my life. I cannot compete with Him in terms of what He wants to do in my life. So one would rather have His plans, God's plans, than their own plans, right? Because with His plans, you are going to live life that is fulfilling. You are going to live life that is peaceful, right? And also God's plans doesn't guarantee pleasure. Remember, I told you in the beginning that my plans was for me to live this beautiful, luxurious life. That in that planning, I didn't even plan for me to get sick. I didn't even plan that, okay, at this point I'd be depressed, or at this point I'd be in an accident, right? Because you plan soft life the whole way through, right? You just envision beautiful things. But God's plans, yeah, there's beautiful things, but we need to indicate also that God's plans, there's a lot of pain that comes with it, right? But it's for the best. Because remember, if I had not enjoyed a certain kind of pain in my life, I would also not be sitting here today. But through those pains, I'm able to actually have some pleasure ultimately. But the challenge with my plans was that I was dreaming about just having money, just accomplishing certain things, just buying certain things in my life, thinking that those things are going to bring me joy, or those things are going to bring me happiness, right? While with God's plans, He would give you pleasure like a sandwich. He would give you pleasure, and then would give you more pain. Your lettuce and your tomatoes and your cheese would be a lot of pain, and then there'd be another slice of bread underneath. So it's a nice sandwich, which there's pleasure under. There's a lot of pain, nice pains. Not entirely nice, but pains. And then there's another slice of bread on top. And that is how God does it. But this very pain that is in between the sandwich is worth it. Because it's for me to grow, it's for me to learn, it's for me to become an even better person. So God's plans have a bit of pain, sometimes a lot of pain, but God's plans are worth it. That is why also I'm inspired by Apostle Paul, I think in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, where he says he had a thorn in his flesh. And he says that I asked the Lord 3 times to remove the thorn, but He didn't remove it, because He said that my grace is all you need. So I realized that, all right, with God's plan, then it means that nothing is coming easy, right? And it's fine, it's good, because at the end of the day, you are gonna reap the fruits, right? So the Bible says that Apostle Paul begged for the thorn to be removed, but he said, no, Apostle Paul, I'm not gonna take it, because you actually need it. And he said that I am not removing it so that you do not boast, right? So that you do not become proud. So when I get to look at myself, or rather my life right now, I want to believe that I'm really an epitome of that scripture, right? Because should I have not went through some certain ordeals, or rather adversities in my life, I would not be where I am today. So it is because the thorn was there. The thorn has always been there, but I had to walk with the thorn because he guaranteed to me that, Masego, my grace is all you need. And it helps in so many ways because it teaches us humility. It teaches us to understand that we are not for ourselves. We are not self-sufficient. It teaches us to rely on the Lord rather than to rely on ourselves, rather than to rely on what we have, on our possessions. But we must rely on the Lord and Him alone. So in everything that we accumulate, or in everything that I can accumulate or that I can possess, through these learnings, I have learned to understand that it is Him who enables me, right? I have learned to enable. I have learned that it is Him who gives me everything that I have, and I've learned to acknowledge Him in everything. So should I not have went through anything that is maybe challenges, if I can put it like that, then I would not know that He is able to actually get me out of any other situation. And that is why He is saying that I'd rather boast on my weaknesses. He's saying I boast on my weaknesses because now the Bible says that when I'm weak, I'm actually strong. So yeah, I have really learned a lot of things with my life that my plans didn't work out. To this date, my plans are not working out. But ever since I allowed myself and I surrendered and I said, you know what, Lord, do you, because I am not winning. And I have gotten to be fulfilled. I've gotten to be happy no matter the circumstances. And I have just allowed Him to really lead and take control. And my plea to somebody also out there is that they also get to learn to understand that their plans is nothing compared to God's plans, because really He's got beautiful plans with your life, and He loves you so much. So I think we are going to end it here for now. God willing, we shall also go deeper in terms of some of the titles that I've mentioned as I was speaking. So we will definitely keep talking about it. So please do comment below if you liked the video. Please do hit a like and share the video. And please, if you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And we shall meet again on the next video, God willing. Awesome stuff.